Well, good morning, guys. Aaron Walker, here I am, coming to you live from the station camp Greenway. Man, I don't know about y'all, but this is absolutely my favorite time of the year. The squirrels are out, the birds are chirping, flowers are up, sunshine, cool 70 degrees. I got short sleeves on, got my new ISI t-shirt on today. So, man, what a great day. Hope the weather is amazing for you. If it's not, it's your own fault. You need to move on down here to Nashville, Tennessee, where there's 100 people a day moving into Nashville right now, so maybe you don't need to. The traffic is getting pretty bad. Had a great morning, really enjoyed myself. I talk to you all the time about family. We're not doing that today at all, zero. If you're not owning a business, want to own a business, you can cut off right now because this is not going to be for you. This is 100% about business today. I want to give you a little tip. I've told you this before, but I'm going to give it to you in more detail today. How we have built View from the Top. 100% of our marketing strategy has been with podcast interviews. 100%. I don't think I've spent another dollar outside of some social media marketing on advertising. About 3 years ago, I was introduced to podcast interviewing. I was scared to death. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. You ought to see the first interview that I did. I had notes taped up on my computer and had books sitting up. I was shaking. I wanted to throw up. I was so nervous to do these interviews. My COO, Tom Schwab, wrote a book about how to do podcast interviews. So I'm like excited about this because I want to learn, because I've been in bricks and mortar for 30 years. You know, I would spend $5,000 on a magazine article and hope and pray somebody saw that. And he started coaching me and showing me how to do this exactly. And when I did one of them, I kind of enjoyed it. I was nervous, and I'm going to be honest with you. The first maybe 6 or 8 that I did, I was pretty nervous. We've done hundreds of interviews now, and I want to tell you what has changed my life. What's changed my life is Interview Valet. Tom Schwab is the president of that company. For full disclosure, because I always give full disclosure, I'm an investor in the company. I believe in it that strongly. So I invested in this opportunity when Tom presented it to me. One of the best decisions I ever made. And I guess you could call this a testimonial for Interview Valet. And I want to tell you exactly how he does it. Some of you guys are going to be bored with this. Some of you have a service or a product that you want to promote, and I want to tell you exactly what it's done for me. It's going to take a minute, so just be patient. So when you go to Interview Valet, they interview you and they determine what vertical or genre that you need to be in. There are 400,000 podcast hosts out there, just in the U.S. alone, not counting overseas. So there's plenty opportunity for you to be a guest. The thing that's really misunderstood oftentimes is the podcast hosts are looking for great guests like you. Now, you may not be a great guest right out of the gate. That's why Tom does certification. He trains you and he teaches you. And you say, well, Big A, I don't even have the equipment. Tom takes care of that too. He'll send you the equipment to do the interview. Then he finds out exactly where your avatar is at, and he puts you in those podcasts. Now, he doesn't just introduce you. He makes the appointment for you. He makes the introduction, then he makes the appointment for you. He does what's called a brief sheet. And he tells you exactly about the podcast host, what they do, how long they've been there. It's really cool, too. It's very professional. It shows a picture, all the links, gives you the history of the podcast host. So you know as much about him as he does you. Then Tom does what's called a pitch sheet. It's about you, and it's really cool, too. It makes you look like a pro. It's got your picture on it, all your links to your social media, about your business, your history, your bio, how people can get in contact with you. It's really, really cool. I mean, he really makes me look like somebody when he sends that pitch sheet to the podcast host. And you say, Big A, I don't know anything about scheduling this, or you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. It's a concierge white glove service. He does everything for you. All you have to do is show up and do the interview. That's it. Many of them are done on Zoom. Many of them are done on Skype. Pretty easy to get. It's a free service. You can sign up for Zoom, and there's no cost, or Skype, and you all use Skype already. So after they do that, he does your social media marketing. He develops the links. He does that completely. He also builds what's called a landing page. Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about, but here are some of the benefits for that. You have what's called a lead magnet, and you put it on your landing page, and you offer at the end of the interview an opportunity to come and get this tip sheet. I give away a personal assessment. I give away what do I want document and steps to a productive day. It's value. We always talk about giving. Give, 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 and I'm a big believer in giving. Well, when you do that, after the interview, they come to the landing page. Mine would be like viewfromthetop.com/Fire Nation, for example. And they would come there knowing that they listened to that interview on Entrepreneur on Fire, and they can get these 3 documents for free. Well, in exchange for that, I get your name and your email address. Now I'm building my list. Well, what we didn't understand early on is the value of the show notes. Every podcast host does show notes. Well, in that now it's posted on the internet, and Google gives you recognition for search engine optimized show notes. And so your name now shows up in the show notes or on Google. Well, I underestimated the value of that alone. The value for me of the services alone in the SEO was worth it, because I went from not being able to be discovered at all. You couldn't find me with a search warrant on Google 3 years ago. And now you type in Aaron Walker and I'm #1. And I'm also on the first 10 pages as a direct result of these show notes. And you're saying, well, Big A, that's you with these. You can do it too. I just started doing this 36 months ago. Right? And I'm consistent. I stay with it nonstop. I wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. Now, here's the benefit. Here's what scares you a little bit when you think about it. If you were to go to speak, and one of the biggest fears today is speaking in front of a crowd. You don't have to speak in front of anybody. You're doing this at your office. You're doing this from your home. And you're doing it with equipment we provide if you don't have the equipment. So you don't have to look at anybody. I started thinking about it the other day. I've done hundreds of podcast interviews now. Many of them have 1,000 downloads. And you think, well, that's no big deal at all. Well, what would you pay to be before 1,000 of people that are interested in what you're having to offer? And then I started thinking the other day also, I've done interviews that have 2 million downloads a month. Now, here's the kicker also. This is evergreen. It's not a one-time thing. That never goes away. People continue to listen to that. I get clients from 3 years ago off interviews that I did. Now it starts to mushroom. People start recognizing your name because you're thousands of downloads, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, in some cases, millions of downloads. And it's evergreen. It just perpetuates itself. As a result of that, people now reach out to us and say, I heard you on this. I'd love to have you on my show. Now we're having to be more select as for the shows that we're on, because it's the snowball effect. It just keeps kind of rolling downhill. Many of my friends have elected to do this privately, and Tom said, Big A, I want to do something for your audience. And I said, okay, bring it. What is it? So he created a landing page, and it's interviewvalet.com/Aaron. And if you go there, he said, I want to do something special. And I said, well, tell me what it is. What are you going to do for my audience? He said, I'm going to give them a copy of my book. If they'll call me and make a 15-minute appointment, I'm going to give them a copy of my book. And he's giving away something called the Baker's Dozen. If you sign up for so many podcasts, he's going to give you some, which really brings your costs down. But when you start really looking at your cost versus the people that you're dealing with, it's uncalculable the amount of return on your investment, the people that you reach. It's like catching fish in a barrel. You're fishing after one certain person. It's not like talking on conventional radio to where you pay thousands of dollars and 1% of the audience may be who you're looking for. This is specific. It's not shooting a shotgun, it's shooting a rifle. We know exactly who we're going after. They're already there. Like Joshua Sheets has Radical Personal Finance. Well, if you want to talk about finance, you need to be on his show because everybody there is interested in finance. And we go on down the list and we pick the person that you need to be on their show. And so you're talking to your specific audience. It's to your avatar. Listen, I am excited. I sound excited about being on it because I've never been on a platform in my entire life that gives me the return like being a podcast guest. I speak now. I just spoke at PodFest. I just spoke at Social Media Marketing with John Lee Dumas, trying to teach people how to be a podcast guest. Now you say, you know, well, you own the company. It's easy for you to say. I wouldn't have bought the company had I not believed in it. That's how much I believe in it. I spend 25% of my time now doing podcast interviews. I did a number of them yesterday. I've got some more to do today. I can't tell you the return. So you can take my advice or you can click me off here and go on about your merry way. But I'm telling you, it is a medium of exchange like I've never seen before, getting your message out to your specific audience. We have professionals, and I can't say who they are. It would be, you know, breaching confidentiality. But some guys that you know, all of you guys know many of the people that are using this, and they write us testimonial after testimonial. They're saying, I can't believe the return that I'm getting. And it's long term. You're not going to get on there and do 3 interviews and set the world on fire. It's not going to happen. I'll just tell you right now. But if you stay with it long term, they'll be calling you wanting to do the interviews. We train you, we teach you, we do the pitch sheet, the bio, we do everything. It's a concierge white glove service where you do nothing but show up for the interview. Reach out, interviewvalet.com/Aaron. You can also email Tom. Tom is the president of the company, tom@interviewvalet.com. If you tell him Big A sent you, I promise, he'll take care of you. If he doesn't, let me know, and I'll ring him up myself. Get a 15-minute interview, see if it's good for you, and if it is, he's got all these bonuses he's going to do just for our audience. Tom, I don't know if you'll watch this or not, but if you do, thank you for offering this discount and these special opportunities for our platform. Guys, hey, what have you got to lose? You tried other things that didn't work well for you. Get out there and try interviewvalet.com, and it may radically change your life as it's changed mine. I got to finish walking. You know why? I got an interview I got to go do. You guys have a great day. I'm Big A, coming to you live this morning from the Station Camp Greenway. Have a great day. Share this message around. I want other guys that you know and professionals to get this, so share it. I'm asking you today to share interviewvalet.com. Have a great one. We'll see you.